Hello everybody, you're here with Couleurs Beauty with your host Claudia Lara. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today is another episode of Dior. I will be unboxing and opening the new powder foundation and a new Kabuki brush. So if you're interested in that, please keep on watching. And I do have to call out to one of you subscribers, which is a very loyal Chanel and kind of angry with Dior at this moment. And so I apologize to you already. I don't say your name because I don't know if you're okay with it, but you know who you are. And hopefully this will help you build back your relationship with Dior, and that all of you enjoy this brand as I do. You know, Chanel is also another beloved. So they're hand on hand there. Different but the same. Is that okay saying? All right. So the first thing, I already unwrapped. It came with a little bow, very, very beautiful. This is another size box from Dior. I guess I will have, they always give you the option if you want the luxurious feeling or you want the, I guess, more recyclable version. I haven't ordered that because I love these boxes. I love the white with the gold, and it has a little, I don't know if you can tell, texture to it. So I always go for the luxurious experience. But after a while, you know, you can only do so much with the boxes, right? But so far, they always come in different boxes for me. So I feel, hey, I can have a use of that. So it comes like this. There's a little sticker. And then once you open it up, of course, I had to open it, but I left them more or less. So I made 2 items order, but they always come with some samples. So I'll show you what's in the sample. There are 2 essences or fragrances. That was my choice. And then of course I have the 2 items. This one, which is the Kabuki brush. Is it called Kabuki? Retractable, yeah, Kabuki brush. And you'll know why I ordered this and why I'm a lot of fun of those style of brushes. And then of course this is the new Forever natural velvet powder of them. So that was it for that. Love the experience of the Dior. So I'm very excited about this powder. I don't know if you saw my other video where I say is my big secret. My biggest secret has always been the Dior powder since I'm like 15 years old. But apparently they've been kind of maybe changing or progressing or different, because I have here 2. One is almost done, very, very old. The other one is still quite in there. So this is the U-stop. You see, hit pan, very rare for me. And then the newer that I got, it's not new, but you know, I still has quite a lot. And then now I ordered this one, Forever Natural Velvet, because apparently it's reformulated and it's a different formula. So I want to see what all the fuss is. It looks the same, a little darker. I mean, I apologize, this is so dirty, but it's not just dirty. This is a little more navy or more bluish. This is more black for what I can tell. A lot shinier. Oh my God, it just looks gorgeous. So it's a little bigger in size. And but again, I don't think it's the same thing. So let me just read here a little bit. So obviously, this one's, the old ones are called Dior Skin Forever. And this one is called Dior Forever. So it doesn't say Dior Skin. And the older ones, one was, it says Flawless Perfection Fusion Wear Makeup. And the other one, it says Extreme Control. So it probably was my mistake, or I don't know if that was the only thing for sale. But so this one, probably the Dior Skin Forever Compact is the one that correlates a little more with this reformulated, because It was more used as foundation versus the Extreme Control, which seems more like a translucent powder to control oils or to finish up your makeup. So I'm not very sure, but we're not gonna bother, even though I did a little bit, but I just want you to know that they are different versions and so far. So this is the newest, and it has more shades, which I appreciate, and it's supposed to be used instead of foundation like I used to wear it back on the day. It's not just a translucent blurring whatever, it's supposed to do all in one, right? So this time I order 1.5 neutral. The reason is when I first started, like on my teens, I was color 10, ivory or porcelain it used to be called. And then through the years, I guess my skin kept changing. And so now these two are number 20. But I always felt they were a tiny little bit darker, but the 10 was too light for me. So I got the 1.5, which I'm very interested to try. I'm sure there's gonna be very minute shift in between, so we'll see. And in the foundation, I'm always 10. So in the liquid foundation, I'm always 10. So I've been very surprised at the actual powder, I'm 20. And mostly because I use it to cover my redness and the discoloration. So I wanted to have a little bit more coverage. And I guess that's why I went up to the 20. We'll see how this one works. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get into the colors. All right, so the way, and I don't know if you want me to read a little bit of this formula, but it's supposed to be, you know, instead of foundation or use as foundation, but it is powder. Let's see the consistency. I just opened it up. I haven't used it at all. It comes with a sponge. Now, these sponges I never use. I feel that once they get dirty, I feel weird reapplying makeup with the dirty. Back on the day, I didn't care. But this one in particular is supposed to be two-sided, different texture. So in one side is sort of a sponge, and on the other side is velvety. Very, very soft. Wow, very soft. You can immediately tell the difference between one side and the other. Probably if I didn't know, I wouldn't have been in tune to notice. But now that I know and I look for it, I can tell, if that makes sense. All right, so the way the online says to apply it is first on the velvet side and then sponge side. And so let's do it. Well, the first thing, I am gonna swatch it just to check the consistency. Immediately feels very silky. Consistency is very, very silky. Wow, that's a lot of color, right? I wonder now how it's gonna look applied. Maybe it has, because it's a 1.5, has a little more rose in it. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna be easy to tell, but we'll see. So the first thing, I'm gonna use the velvet side. And it says to apply it kind of in pushing the product in. You really have to have a lot of patience to do it this way, at least in my case. And I did not apply any concealer, any nothing. I only had my skin care. However, I probably, for something that is this light, I probably would have applied a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury corrector, because that one really, really covers the purple under my eyes. I mean, on most days, very casual, that's all I wear. I don't even put foundation nor actually concealer. So that one is like a must for me. But I didn't want to do that today because I wanted to see how it covers. I could do it in the other and just see how it covers on top of it. Maybe that would be a good idea. All right, well, so far I love, love, love. Can you tell the difference? Usually when it's daylight and I have the windows open, it's a better lighting for this, but I think you can really see. I mean, look at the red in my under eyes and the stain on my cheeks, and look at this side. I mean, thankfully, I still have some shading for contour purposes. I don't know how that happened with the sun, because it's always there and it's a stain, but I appreciate it. But look, that's beautiful. And in real life, it's beautiful. It's not just on the screen. Wow. So far, I'm liking it quite a bit. And then you're supposed to turn it and use the sponge side to push the product in. Again, if I didn't know there were two sides, I probably will never know. And does it make a difference? It did. It did make a difference. It made the product being absorbed more to the skin, but that also kind of took away some of the coverage. So I guess I'm gonna reapply. So to tell you the truth, I probably would apply it with the velvet side and leave it at that. If anything, and that's because I know and love this product, if anything, I will use my whole hand and press in. I always think that using your fingers or your own oils or moisture from your own hand is the best thing. Of course, you have to be careful not to leave the prints of your fingers and things of that nature. That's why it's usually not used that way. But for powder, for this powder, that could be a way of doing it. But the sponge too. And again, it gets dirty very quickly, you know, so I guess it all depends how you feel about it. So if you notice, I only applied it on one side. And the reason being is because here's the second product. So Dior Backstage Brush. Now, I never have ordered this Dior brush, so this is my first impressions. But if you've been with me, you know that in my channel, I always talk about this type of brush, which is in a cylinder, short, and you can take it in your purse. And so the way it works, so you have the brush, right? Well, there's the swatch. Now let's see. So you can see it's still a little bit above the skin, right? Maybe it has just a tiny little bit of pink, pinker than my skin, which I actually appreciate. Makes me feel or look a little youthful than if I put yellow. My skin is yellow, but if I add yellow on the 20, I think that's what I meant when I said that the other 20 were a little tiny darker than me. It's not just darker, they're a little more yellowish, so it makes me look more golden or tan. So I prefer a little bit more of this whiteness, which number 10 also has. All right, so love it, love it, love it. I wanna use this on the other side and see if there's any difference. Probably will take a lot more product, so you're using more product, but we'll see. And the reason I love this brush, I mean, it's very, very soft. I appreciate it. It's a lot softer. This one came in one of the powders. This is also Dior, but the ones that come with the product. This one, and if you see, it's a mixture, probably synthetic, but it's a color kind of hairs. Of course, this was free with the product, but it is rougher. This one is so soft. Now I'm very curious if it's real hair. Probably. I should pull it out and show you. I'll do that at the end. So we'll try this, and I usually apply the older powders with this one. That's why I want to try it with the actual powder, brush, instead of the sponge. So it's picking up a lot more powder. Look at a little bit of the mess, and it's not covering as much. So definitely the sponge. Now I'm kind of applying as if it was a sponge. Of course, I have to be a lot more patient, which is the thing that I tell you, I'm not very patient with this. Well, what do you guys think? Sponge, brush. I think it gets applied a lot better with the sponge. Now, I'm not regretting getting this brush because, like I said, what I usually do is when I go out, when I'm gonna be out and about, I don't take the compact with the powder. What I do is I take it in this brush, usually the Meteorites, you know, for Guerlain, the one that has a little more illuminating, or this one. And so what I do is I just take that in my purse, and when I have to retouch, if I'm sweaty or if the makeup is starting to look a little dull, then I apply it. And so for me, this is a winner. Probably is not synthetic, but I'll confirm in a little bit on the computer. Does it say here? Okay, I'm reading from the box. And it says, da, 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 da. I think that's in French. And then recommended texture, loose and compact powder application. Pick up and deposit powder on the face for bronzer powder application with healthy glow. Apply the powder in the shape of number 3, starting natural fibers. Type of fiber. Okay, so it is natural hair. That is good to know. It doesn't say what kind, but it does say natural fibers. Okay, well, that's a big difference. So here is with the brush, good enough. Here's with the sponge. You might say it's not a lot of difference, but I think I prefer the sponge, especially under the eye, because of that purple. But like I said, I think I would use the corrector from Charlotte Tilbury and then add this on top of it, and that way I'll feel that my under eyes are really covered. All right, now I did put a little bit of eyebrow Tone 4 fiber gel, just so you know. I mean, if you've been with me, you know my eyebrows are a lot lighter. Not that you can tell really, but you know. All right, so let's continue. So now the 2 products that I'm featuring are done, but I did wanted to finish up my face with just a tiny little bit of stuff. So one thing that I've been going crazy about is this thing in my mind. So for me, the trends of the fall that are coming, I see a lot of terracottas. I mean, we see it with the new Natasha Denona palette. We've seen it with the, you know, the Pat McGrath, the Paradise Glow. I mean, so there's some introductions of, looking for the brush, of this terracotta sort of fall colors. But I'm also seeing, or maybe in my head, I haven't really seen it yet, but I think it's coming, is this contour, but more cool side contour, more on the gray instead of the brown. I don't know why I keep seeing that. So I just ordered a very older from Kevin Aquine contour powders. We'll see, but I keep seeing like the 80s, like this Julia, what is it, from the Pretty Girl or Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts, and you know, all of that kind of style, which was not cream, it was powder. So we'll see. So instead of blah, 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 let me apply a little bit. So based on that, I picked up, this is the dark, no, I know which other one. So this is Dior, this is Backstage. I don't know what's going on with this. I haven't seen it available. Maybe they're sold out. I don't know if they'll come back. Who knows? This is the Backstage, and usually you find it in Sephora, which I don't think they have it in stock, and neither in Dior website. So I'm gonna try this other one that I have, because see, this is what I mean. More gray in it, more cool tone. This is a Smashbox. This is a very old thing too. So let me apply it. I don't even know if you can get it anymore, which I hate to do that. But the point that I'm trying to make is not so much this product, just if you find one that has that cooler sort of tones to it. You see what I mean? So it's not in the warm browns. Let me apply it over here. It's even cooler than the Westman Atelier Contour Biscuit, which is one of my favorites. And I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong about this trends, but that's okay. I'm doing it, and I just ordered that Kevin Aquine, which I'll be featuring, not a new product. You can still find it in Nordstrom's. I got it from Beautylish, but I'm excited about it. All right, so I'm doing a very, very light sort of look. I'm using the Sonia G Mini Cheek, so it's almost barely touch. Here is Dior Blush 352. Very, very light colors again. Because every time I see Dior on Instagram or things like that, I always see this sort of looks. Very light, very natural. There but not there. And I feel that this powder calls for that kind of look. And I have to say, I love it. I never was able to get into this sort of look with a real foundation, full-time foundation and things like that. But with this, absolutely. Look at that. Oh my God, it's so lovely. You know what I did not pull out is a highlighter. Let's see, I have several from Dior. Let me see which I call. Yeah, I'll pull this one out. This is more gold, or this is, no, this is more peachy. I want a very light. No, this is one of my favorites. This one is 002 Dior Skin Nude Air. More in the pinkish, sort of pearly. Barely there, really. But that's the look. Now, there you have it. I mean, if you wanted to do add a little bit of that highlight in here, or I have here 2 quads, I would recommend either. This is the new one, Wild Raffia, and this one is Nude Dress, more peachy, lighter, but they're both in a very natural. So in this case, I am gonna pick this Nude Dress, and I'm gonna put this one and this one. So the darker will be all over well, let me add it here in the outer corner. And the other one, more peachy, I'm gonna apply it all over the lid in the inner corner, in the crease. The only thing I'm looking for is for a little bit of that illuminating sort of quality. And that's it. If I wanted to uplift a little bit, I would do some liquid liner, black liquid liner and mascara. And I am wearing the Real Dior 200. This is a little too light for me. I thought it in the pictures online was a lot darker. I mean, look, even in the swatch, right? You're like, oh yeah, a little brown, a little more. But no, it really doesn't show that much on my lips. And this formula, because a little balm, I mean, I've been putting it on the lower, so you see the difference, but I already had some on. But I mean, really, you didn't even know I had anything on my lips. But this formula, you're supposed to go back and forth, and it's buildable. You saw that it's getting a little more color. But I can keep going on and on and on because I feel, you know, I don't get the satisfaction, like I don't have enough color, and I go crazy. So, see, I'm going crazy. But you see the difference between this side and that? Absolutely. But I mean, who wants to be there forever, right? So I don't know if the 300 might have more ink, but I've been scared to order it because if it's like this, I'll go crazy. But since we're doing all Dior, yeah, Don't know. Perhaps I would get, I don't know, something else. But since we're also doing Dior, let me see if I have this. I have the lip glow from Dior. I would put something shiny. No, let's go with this gloss. Yeah. So this gloss is Lip Maximizer from Dior. And what color is this? Oof. I'll list it down below because I can't read that. I think it's like gold. But let's apply a little bit. Yeah. So this is a final look, guys. I hope you like it. Again, if you really wanted to finalize a little more, I would put the liquid eyeliner and the mascara. But if not, this is a very casual look. Like I know a lot of you, especially my Asian up, like it. And so bottom line from this powder, love it. Very happy I ordered it. The Kabuki brush, it was about time I got a new one. I didn't have Dior, but I needed a new one. You can get some at Walgreens or drugstore, kind of Kabuki brushes, not natural hairs, but they function almost the same. And they probably are like less than 20 bucks. But this one was 50 or something. But I love it. I'm glad I got it. And nowadays, I like natural hair. So, winner! Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Please ring the bell on the right-hand corner, thumbs up, and comment down below. You're going to get this powder. Did you like this look? What do you think of the brush? And all that jazz. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.